Welcome to Trivia Tuesday. Every Tuesday on my Facebook page at Bible Nerd, I post 4 questions throughout the day. And at the end of the day, we do a little trivia answer video. I just think it's really a lot of fun to learn Bible study this particular way and just engage with everybody and just go through and answer these questions and deep dive into the answers where it's possible. So we got 4 questions posted today. But I also wanted to mention that I just launched the Bible Nerd website. It's got where I post the blog, it's got where I post the podcast. I also have a merch store that has these fun little, I'm wearing one of the hats right now that is just some fun ways to show your nerdiness. There's a whole section for Bible nerds. There's other section for car nerds and other things that I think are just really, really a lot of fun to just nerd out on this stuff. Everybody's a nerd for something is the way I look at it. You could be nerd for video games and science and math, but I like nerding out on the Bible. I like nerding out on cars. I like nerding out on sports. And I just enjoy getting passionate about these things and just nerding out. So check out my website. Here's this hat you can get. There's other hats that are on there, all kinds of fun ones. And I got sweaters and mugs. I got all kinds of fun stuff. And I tell you, it's just been fun putting it together more than anything. So love your feedback. Love to have you take a look at it. But let's go into today's trivia questions. And we'll start with number 1 posted to my Facebook page. Love to have you like that page as well. More ways to just engage and have fun talking with people about this stuff. But check out Bible Nerd. And again, nerds N3 RD. So check out Bible Nerd on Facebook and .com, BibleNerd.com. Let's get to the first trivia question. Hey everyone, Brian here. I am a Bible nerd. We are starting our Trivia Tuesday questions, and the first one we started out with is a really fun one. How many days and nights did it rain during the flood in Noah's time? Was it A, 20 days and nights, B, 30 days and nights, C, 40 days and nights, or D, 50 days and nights? Well, if we're talking Noah, we're going to be in the book of Genesis. I've got the New King James Version in front of me here, and we're going to go to Genesis chapter 7. So follow along with me, if you will, Genesis chapter 7. And my cover keeps coming off here. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh, live videos. Okay, let's go to Genesis chapter 7 is where we have the flood narrative start. And we're going to go into the 12th verse to find the answer. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So our answer is answer C. So it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And then the water stayed on the earth for 150 days. So this was a long period that they were in the ark. Now, I think it's interesting, too, when you see 40 pop up in the scriptures, a lot of times it's a time frame of testing. So numbers have a lot of significance within the Bible. You got 7s and 10s and other numbers that are out there. 7 times 70, those are kind of some numbers that are out there. But it's funny how often the number 40 is associated with a time of testing. So even when a child is born, they would wait 40 days before they would present the child to the temple. They felt that if the child had made it past 30 days, past 40 days, its viability was probably there. Unfortunately, the mortality rates were not what they are today, and many wouldn't make it even to the 40th day. So it also kind of shows this idea of 40 kind of plays out. That number 40 is in the scriptures many different ways. But the answer to today's Bible study verse is C, 40 days and 40 nights. Also, I want to recommend a video that's on YouTube called The Ark and the Darkness. It's done, I think, by the Creation Museum or Answers in Genesis. I think they're part of this video that really has an incredible visualization of the Noah's flood and some of the science that's behind it, the fact that it was a worldwide flood. They put some very plausible, very interesting information in this video, but also just the graphics and the artwork that's done is pretty good. They put some time and money into this particular production, and it just makes you think about some of the stuff we've been told about how old the earth is and the creation, the flood narrative, some of the evidences of a worldwide flood. It's really interesting stuff. I highly recommend it. I'll put maybe a link in the description, but it's called The Ark and the Darkness. Check it out. All right, on to question number 2. What type of wood was the Ark of the Covenant made from? Was it A, cedar, B, acacia, C, oak, or D, pine? Give you a second to think about it. Let's jump to Exodus chapter 25. We were just in Genesis, so it's a pretty quick walk. We're going to be in the 25th chapter of Exodus in the 10th verse. And they shall make an ark of acacia wood. 2.5 cubits shall be its length, 1.5 cubits its width, and 1.5 cubits its height. So I've looked at a cubit is a little bit unknown on the exact size, but most people have an agreement that it was about, this would have been about 45 inches by about 27 and a half inches. So we're talking roughly like a 3 by 3 type box, a little more maybe a 3 by 4 type box. So it wasn't necessarily really big, but still pretty hefty. And acacia wood was around the Sinai Peninsula, it was around Egypt. It was a very common tree, but it was known by even the Egyptians as having kind of a sense of immortality. It just lasted a long time. It was very durable. It lasted a lot of different seasons. So a lot of times, some of the symbolism within the Egyptian culture would signify kind of mortality or immortality when it came to acacia wood. And so this is picked up on just in that area of just how durable and how available this particular building material was. And that's why it was used, and some of the symbolism behind it. Even some of the parts of the tabernacle were also made out of the same wood because of just some of the imagery that's there, and mostly availability and just its durability. There's some beautiful pictures online of acacia wood and tables. I've seen some really cool because the grain in it just looks really beautiful, especially depending on the stains and stuff like that. But really is very beautiful type of wood, just known for its durability and just some of the symbolism of just being an everwood type tree that just really stood the test of time and just going to be around forever. So that is the answer to today's question: is B, acacia. Question number 3. I hope you're having fun with this. I think it's kind of a fun way to do Bible study, and I just kind of like digging up the answers. And maybe you already know the answer, but hopefully I'm adding a little more insight to what the answer is, and maybe get you digging a little bit deeper into some of these trivia questions. But I just think they're a lot of fun to kind of just do a quick little Bible study, quick little trivia every Tuesday. And let's move on to question number 3. What was the name of the angel who announced to Mary that she would conceive Jesus? Was it A, Gabriel, B, Michael, C, Raphael, or D, Uriel? Give you a second to think about it. And I'm cheating a little bit with my little ribbon in my Bible because I've been going through the gospel according to Luke. So I already got my ribbon kind of there, so I can skip to chapter 1 here pretty quick in the gospel according to Luke. And we're going to have the name of our particular angel. If you go to Luke chapter 1, in the 26th verse, it reads this: Now in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to the city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. So today's answer is A, Gabriel. And I think it's interesting studying names. In the Bible, names have a little bit more significance. When you see El, or like Gabriel, Michael, Daniel, when you see kind of El at the end, that is tying back to God. Whether it's Elohim, it's kind of a shortened version of that. And it's either of God, to God, for God, something that is tying back to that. And Gabriel, from everything I was able to see, is it's God is my strength, or God is my hero, is what Gabriel means. And Gabriel gets a little bit of airtime here in Luke, not only for the story of Mary and Jesus, but also of John the Baptist's parents, Zachariah and Elizabeth. So he gets named here as well. Where Michael is named a little more often in the book of Daniel, there's a couple other names that are dropped, and even Lucifer is a fallen angel, so that's kind of a name of an angel as well. But there's a couple different names, but there's some angels that just aren't named at all. There's the angel of the Lord. That's a common one that's in the New Old Testament. And so there's sometimes they're not necessarily named, but there are a few times there is some names of the angels, and it's pretty interesting to study it. And there's a lot of names outside of the Bible that people would use. In fact, the Uriel, the last one here, D, is mentioned in the book of Hebrews from the book of Enoch, which isn't actually in the Bible, but is referenced by that work. In fact, the book of Hebrews almost got dropped out because of some of its references and some of the things to other books that were outside of scripture. But there's other works, there's other commentaries, there's other things that are written, there's other stories that are written. So it's interesting, some of the names that we do have in the Bible and a lot of names that we have outside of it. But a lot of them, the name itself has some sort of significance. And that's kind of what's important to look at. But it's really interesting studying about angels and demons. There's a couple books that are out there. Dr. Michael Heiser has one that's really interesting, Angels and Demons. And then even Bible Project's done a couple cool videos on angels and demons, this concept of those words. So I highly recommend you check those out. But the answer today is A, Gabriel. He's the one who announced to Mary that she would have a son named Jesus. Number 4, our last question of the day. What phrase begins the section known as the Beatitudes on the Sermon on the Mount? I've enjoyed this year like crazy. The Bible Project from the first of the year has been doing a deep dive through the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, we're talking 10 months, 9 full months of just studying line for line, paragraph, thought for thought, the whole Sermon on the Mount. And I tell you what, it's just been amazing going through it and studying in such a slow fashion. And the more I apply some of the things that Jesus talks about, whether it's in Matthew's gospel or the version that's in Luke's gospel, I just think it's beautiful to hear the teachings of Jesus and how timeless they really are and how beautiful these sayings are. So, what is the first start of the Beatitudes, is what we call it? Is it A, you are the light of the world? B, do not be anxious about your life? C, blessed are the poor in spirit? Or D, love your neighbors? So, I'll give you a second to think about it. Let's go to Matthew. We were just in Luke, so we just have to go backwards a few pages here. We are going to go to Matthew chapter 5. This is the start of the Sermon on the Mount. We're going to go to verse 2. Then he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The clue is kind of in the trivia question. It's the Beatitudes, which are the blessings. So it starts off with these blessings, but it's beautiful to see some of the counterintuitive people that he calls blessed in the society of that day. And even today, you wouldn't call someone poor in spirit to be blessed. You wouldn't call someone that is meek that'll inherit the earth. You're not going to say that people that are blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. He's obviously talking to people who probably have to deal with hunger and thirst on a daily basis. He's really kind of flipping the kingdom upside down of what we would call the people that really are blessed and live this great life. But I tell you, if you have time, check out the Bible Project. They have an app. They're on YouTube. They have a podcast, which I really recommend. They've really gone through this entire year, 2024, and just really gone through the Sermon on the Mount. It's beautiful what they talk about. They go through the Lord's Prayer. They go through these case studies. They just go through this entire sermon and just dive into it in a way that was just really uplifting for me. I learned a lot from it. I'm still going back and listening to the podcast and going back and studying it again and again, just because it's such an incredible resource that they gave us at the Bible Project, which they're always giving us incredible resources. And that's the thing that I think is just amazing about our day and age. I have all these versions on my phone. I can compare instantly different versions. I have all these footnotes and I have all these study guides and I have all this technology. I've got AI programs that can just help you point out where things are at or where they're similar. I mean, it's just an amazing time to be alive. And we should be able to use some of this technology to dig deeper, find the truths, be ready with apologetics, whatever it might be. I just think it's just a brilliant time to be alive, just an amazing time to have access to this stuff. And I just love nerding out on it. So, hence the name of the channel, hence the name of everything I'm doing, is I just love nerding out on this incredible collection of documents. I think it's just amazing. So there you have it. That's our answer today is C, blessed are the poor in spirit. Well, how fun was that? Trivia Tuesday. So check out my Facebook page at Bible Nerd. I post different things every day. I have themes for each day. Monday is motivational or quote Mondays. I'll put a bunch of quotes up. Tuesday is Trivia Tuesday. Wednesday is usually tied to music. So I'll post music videos or things that are really inspiring on Christian music and things like that. Thursday, I usually do a Thankful Thursday. So I have all these challenges and stuff throughout the day that's a lot of fun. And then Friday, I have a discussion or a topic that I'll bring up and just get some interaction, get some people talking back and forth. So it's really a lot of fun. Love where this is going. I love that you're a part of it. Please click subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. I just love going on this journey with you and can't wait to see where God takes us. So I hope you have a wonderful day and God bless.